we are still in a pretty competitive real estate market. What that means for you is that if you are an investor or even looking to buy your home for yourself, you need to be able to make compelling offers. Now, this is not as crazy as it was back in 2021, where in some cases you had houses that had up to 35, 40, 50 offers. I had one client who had 20 offers, half of which were cash offers. Now, that's pretty crazy. So now we're back to sort of a level of sanity. So it's still a healthy market, but now buyers have a little bit more negotiating power, a little bit more buying power. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to have strong offers. Now, what I've also found is that there are kind of generally two kinds of properties. There are the properties that are not updated. They probably have items in their home, kitchens that are 10, 20 years old, bathrooms that are the same age, that will require updating within the next 5 to 10 years or more. Then there are other properties which have recently been updated, and those are still very attractive to buyers. What that means is that sellers are still getting competitive offers from buyers. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't have $500,000 or $1 million in cash to make an offer on a home, there are ways to make your offer more competitive. Here are two ways. Now, I do warn you that you need to work with a professional before employing these tactics because they can be a little bit risky if you don't know what you're doing. But if you work with a professional, you will have no problems exercising these strategies. The first is releasing the financing contingency. A financing contingency in a contract basically says that if you don't get approved for a loan, that you can back out. Now, a seller looks at that and says, wait a second, I don't want to put my house in a lock for 30 days only to have you come back and tell me as a buyer, oh, sorry, I didn't get a loan, so I can't buy the house. That's not going to fly with sellers who have attractive properties. So you have to release it. But how do you release it without putting yourself at risk? Well, if you work with the right lender, and I can recommend very good lenders, if you work with the right lender, they can get you what's called an underwriting pre-approval for your loan, which means that you're approved for the loan. You're good to go. The only thing you need now is a property to be cleared, right? The title has to be cleared. Now, most cases, if a title doesn't clear, the deal is dead anyway, and the buyer and the seller back out, and we go back to square one. So if you are able to get pre-approved underwriting approval for your offer, that means that you can release the financing contingency, and it gives the seller more assurance that you're going to go all the way to closing. So that's the first one. The second one is inspection contingencies. Now, in the state of Virginia, we're lucky in that there is something called an HOA provision, HOA dock inspection provision. I'm paraphrasing, but that's generally how it's called, which means that you have the ability to inspect the HOA or condominium association documents for 3 days, and you can back out for any reason if you don't like anything you found on the docs. So if you don't like the fact that they're using Arial font on the docs, you can back out. And they give you 3 days to do this. And this is by law. So what I've had buyers do is they will ask for a home inspection. They'll do it for information purposes only. In other words, there is no contingency on finding something in the home inspection. But then what we do is we schedule inspection for day one after ratification. So the day after the contract is signed, we get an inspection done on the property. And we get the report the same day, which means that they can look at the report. If there's anything they don't like in the home inspection, they can basically say, you know what, I don't like the HOA docs, I'm backing out. Now, again, this requires a lot of close coordination and the advice of a professional. But these are two key hacks that you can implement to make your offer more competitive without having to raise your offer price. Thanks for watching.